Hello everyone, it's Dr. Manjari Narkarni, Ayurvedic MD, registered holistic nutritionist, back today with another interesting topic. So, today we are continuing from our last conversation about thyroid. Today we're going to talk about natural strategies to rebalance as well as heal your thyroid. And I have been back to the clinic, so I'm really excited. So, if you can see where I am, so this is my clinic, and um, that's why I'm a little bit late today because I'm doing back to back consults. It's really amazing being back in the clinic. So yeah, that's sort of something that's really exciting in my life. So let's talk about thyroid. So, okay, I can see a few people logged on. If you are seeing this live, please say a quick hi. If you are watching this as a replay, please, put a hashtag as replay. And if you have any questions at any point of time for me, please put it in the comments so that I can answer your questions. Hello, Ushaji. Thank you for being here. So I can see a few more people watching this live. So say a quick hi. Hello, Ambika. Thank you for watching this live. Um, Hi, Joanne. So let's talk about my 5 step plan, especially for thyroid, rebalancing your thyroid. So, this is an extremely important aspect of most our healths, and not just as women, but even men tend to suffer from thyroid issues, right? So this is something that's not spoken in terms of men, but if you are as a man feeling extremely lethargic, if you have a lot of hair loss, if you have lack of motivation, dry skin, constipation, excess weight gain, in spite of trying to lose weight, you could be struggling with hypothyroid. If you are someone who is having a lot of weight loss, any swelling in this region, um, a lot of anxiety, a lot of palpitations, diarrhea, it could be hyperthyroid, right? And then there are also reasons for these conditions. So there could be, autoimmune conditions associated with it, or there could be different causes to it. So we have discussed all of this in our previous videos. You can go and check out those videos. Um, Today, we are mainly going to focus on the natural healing strategies for thyroid. Hi, Susan. Thank you for showing up live. So, let's get started. So, the very first number one thing to do when you have developed a thyroid condition is to really not focus on just either taking synthroid or something to rebalance the thyroid, but really try to treat the underlying cause. Try to find the root cause of your thyroid condition. See, 10 people might have, an imbalance in the thyroid because of 10 different reasons. For you, it is extremely important to identify what is causing your thyroid to go out of balance. I have mentioned it in my previous videos that your thyroid is an extremely, extremely sensitive gland, right? Poor diet, poor lifestyle, lack of activity, lack of sleep, a lot of toxicity in your food, lack of the right nutrients, if you have digestive issues, they can all contribute towards thyroid issues. So for you, it is extremely crucial to find out, what's going on. If you are extremely stressed out, right, and you just keep taking synthroid, it may or may not work for you. Ideally, in Ayurveda, we believe in finding the root cause of any condition and then trying to either resolve or eliminate the root cause. Right. So, an example is, sometimes if there's a specific food that you're eating, like in thyroid, we mentioned that eating raw cruciferous vegetables, like kale, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, these are extremely healthy. But if you eat them raw, they could lead to issues with your thyroid. They could lead to hypofunction of your thyroid hormone, right? So these are known as goitrogens. So that could be the cause of one person, right? Lack of sleep, could be the cause of the other person. Absolute being stressed out, a lot of emotional overwhelm could be the cause of the third person. So always look for the underlying cause of your specific thyroid imbalance. That's the number one strategy. And once you find this, once you identify this, you can find a lot more relief and long term results, not just temporarily. And see, also, I've mentioned before that sometimes, uh, people take medications to support their thyroid, but the symptoms don't go away 100%. So you're still feeling lethargic, you're still losing your hair, you're still having a lot of dry skin, you're still having a lot of issues, right? So if you don't focus on the root cause, you're still going to have these symptoms. But if you focus on the root cause, you can definitely take, supplements or medications to supplement that, but you're attacking the root cause, which is going to give you the long term relief. I'm going to take a few quick comments. Hi Sylvia, nice to see you. So Ellen is saying that she has hyperthyroidism, Graves, that she thinks, and she's done the radioactive iodine treatment twice and believe that it just works around 22%, and the pills are not helping. They're not getting regulated. So yeah, see, there are a lot other factors that impact your thyroid as well, right? So taking medications, taking pills could be one of the things, but you have to find out the root cause. Now, radioactive iodine treatment can also destroy those cells, right, that are causing hyperthyroidism. But sometimes if they attack more cells, then you're losing the function as well, right? There could be other factors too which are inflammatory. Now in my practice, I also see people reacting to certain foods that cause a lot of inflammation. So even food allergies, even gluten can impact sometimes. Heavy metals, if you are exposed to a lot of heavy metals, if you are exposed to a lot of chemicals, if you're exposed to a lot of mold as a part of your job or something, you could also have issues with your thyroid, right? So finding the root cause is extremely important, and then we can get around that. And Elaine, feel free to get in touch with me. We can set up a 15-minute talk and we can see how I can help you. So we can go from there. So feel free to reach out and I'll be more than happy to help you. The second part is, now your first step is figuring out why your thyroid is off balance. It could be hyper or hypo, or even autoimmune condition, right? Now the second one is always to optimize your nutrition. Whenever it comes to thyroid health, you have to support your thyroid with optimal nutrition, and some of the elements that your food is going to require is going to be iodine, is going to be zinc, also having omega-3 fatty acids, selenium. So these are certain nutrients present in your food that are also going to support your thyroid gland. And see, you can supplement it, but always try to get it from the foods first, right? So if you are having a diet that is, rich in iodine, simple foods like seaweed, or having fish, making sure the fish is not a toxic fish. Like a lot of fishes, the farmed ones, or um, big fish which have, a long life, they have more of the chances to accumulate heavy metals in them, right? And your thyroid gland is going to be very sensitive to heavy metals. Sometimes even chlorinated water or fluoride in your toothpaste, they also are going to impact your thyroid. So clean water, um, that's also important, but a really clean diet, especially for food sensitivities, especially if you are having issues with your digestion, or if you're fatigued and if you're having nutritional deficiencies, it is extremely important to optimize your nutrition, because you want your thyroid to heal, right? So you have to give it the right requirements to be able to rebalance and heal. So I'm going to again look at the questions. Elaine says she's definitely a hypo now, and that is typically what happens to a lot of people after the radioactive iodine treatment, right? Because from hyper, it is very easy to go into hypo, because there is the actual destruction of the gland cells or the thyroid cells, right? And weight gain again is very common. A lot of inflammation, body aches and pains and joint aches and pains, feeling lethargic, tired, again, those are symptoms of hypothyroidism, right? So yeah, so we can talk about the thyroid tests as well. One of the main ones, like not everybody checks for T3, T4, but if we talk about TSH, as Joanna is asking me, so when we talk about TSH, the number from zero point 0.5 to 4 is what's considered to be normal, right? But if you look at the holistic perspective, if you look at the numbers that I see as, an Ayurvedic doctor or a naturopath would see, we say that it should be between, 0.5 to 2.5, right? If it's over 2.5, if it's like 3.99, when we're looking at 4 as the higher limit, it indicates a hyper excess of TSH, which will mean that you are becoming hypothyroid, or it indicates hypothyroidism. More than the tests, there is one thing called basal body temperature. So if you take your temperature every single morning on waking up, and then 10 minutes after, with some light movement, not really jumping or vigorous activity, and if you have a subnormal body temperature, it's called the basal body temperature test. That is also extremely important for thyroid, and sometimes that can indicate hypothyroidism better than your blood test results, right? And if your thyroid numbers look like they're in the normal range, but you're having a lot of these body symptoms, then it's time to really figure out what's going on, because your thyroid um, hormones might be present in your body, but they might not be optimized to you, right? So this is also something important to understand. Hello, Mohammed. Thanks for joining in this live. So let's talk about, now we've talked about treating the underlying causes. That was the first one. The second thing we talked about was optimizing your nutrition. Always eat as clean as you can. Cut out all the processed food, cutting out all the junk food. Often thyroid issues are seen co-currently existing with adrenal issues, right? So often when your thyroid is out of balance, your stress glands are out of balance, and this is going to lead to a lot of salt cravings as well. If you have anything else emotionally going on, you might crave a lot of sugars as well. So often I see that, when women struggle with thyroid, they will reach out for foods either salty or either sugary to make them feel better, right? But that's not the solution. So really clean your diet, optimize your nutrition, make sure you're actually planning to get these nutrients in your food, through food. And zinc is in pumpkin seeds. Zinc is also found in oysters. A lot of the seafood would contain iodine. Seaweed, nori sheets, if you like sushi, nori sheets, they are also available as a snack. They could have a lot of iodine. Also using certain seaweed like kombu or something for making your bone broths or stocks is also going to give you some iodine naturally, right? Omega-3 fatty acids can be found in walnuts, in chia seeds, flax seeds. So adding this to your diet is going to help lower the inflammation in your body. One of the best sources of selenium is Brazil nuts, right? Peanuts are the worst nuts, but everybody loves peanuts, right? So if you look at it from a health perspective, peanuts are not super healthy. They're just really not expensive, cheap, easy to manufacture, right? And easy to kind of market, I guess. So that's why they're made into peanut butters and all that. But if you look at them from a nutritional standpoint, almonds or cashews or Brazil nuts, walnuts are going to be way healthier as nuts. So if you are continuously eating peanuts, it's time to kind of get rid of those peanuts and introduce other nuts, again in moderation. Again, always handful, right? So don't eat bags of nuts because they're good for you. Anything too much, or too much of anything good is not always good, right? So don't go for too much of anything. Always use it in moderation. And Brazil nuts are fantastic. They have selenium. Selenium is an antioxidant which is also required for thyroid function. So adding Brazil nuts is a fantastic way, and you can have 2 to 3 a day. You don't need to eat like a whole bag, but you can get like 2 a day and make that a part of your lifestyle plan. The third thing I want to talk about is always minimizing your stress, right? So you've taken the root cause out, you've now optimized your diet, but if you are living in that high stress, right, your stress glands are constantly going to be exhausted, right? Your body is constantly in that fight flight mode, and your thyroid function is never going to be optimal. A lot of the clients that I see live in high stress situations, as well as they are creating a lot of high stress in the body by not eating. A lot of starvation diets, 1200 calorie diets, which are really popular, are really stupid. So 1200 calorie diets for most people are essentially starvation diets. So when you go on any crazy diet, or if you just don't eat throughout the day, right, puts a lot of stress on your body. So we just don't talk about emotional stress, but also you have to look at the physical stress. Exercising beyond your capacity, exercising when you're completely fatigued, is also going to create a lot of issues for you, and really going to stress your body out. So those are things that you need to understand, and those are things you need to counter. So stress, definitely managing your stress, not just emotional stress but also physical stress, and making sure that you're not stressing yourself out by not sleeping, or by too much exercising or not exercising at all, right? The third thing is, always to exercise, right? So exercise is extremely important when it comes to thyroid health. Now, if you have what's known as adrenal fatigue, or your adrenal glands are not balanced, you cannot exercise too much, but at least walking, at least some kind of, exercises that help with circulation can be really useful. And if you are someone who's not able to exercise, or vigorously, or any kind of exercise, one of the simplest things you could also do is take some oil, even sesame oil, but just do like a thyroid massage, right? So just gently massaging your gland can also really help balance. It helps, it increases the circulation here, and that can also definitely help. So exercise 100% if you can. If you're too tired to exercise, you don't have to, but any kind of movement, don't look at it as exercise, but look at it as movement. Any kind of yoga, restorative yoga is fine, walking, brisk walking is fine. If you have a lot of joint issues, when things start opening up, swimming is a good activity, right? Swimming, you have to be a little bit careful because of the chlorinated water. So that is something a lot of my clients also miss, that if you are swimmers and you've been swimming and it's chlorinated water, that can also impact your thyroid. So that is something to pay attention to, right? And then you can supplement. So then there are different kinds of supplements that we talk about. In Ayurvedic, we use something called Kanchanar Gugulu is, one of the most important formulations. Vitamin D is extremely important when it comes to modern supplements. We've talked about zinc, iodine, omega 3, selenium. So these are all components that are important. Now, the one thing with supplementation is that you always supplement what you are deficient in. Right? If you have good amounts of something and you keep taking more and more and more, it's not necessarily going to help you, right? So iodine, I feel that most people lack in it because of the diets today. So that is definitely a good supplementation. But before taking any herbs, right? If you're taking specific herbs like ashwagandha or any other herbs, it's always good to consult somebody, because there are so many studies done on both ends, right? So you want to make sure that, whatever herbs or any other supplements you take are not impacting your thyroid. So always when it comes to herbs or different supplements which are combinations, please check with someone. Now, three crucial lifestyle changes that you need to do when it comes to your thyroid gland. The first one is going to be exercise or movement, as I spoke about before, right? So there was a study done that shows that the thyroid functions improve during regular physical exercise. And regular physical exercise means at least 20 to 30 minutes every single day, and it's not about 3 times a week like really intense exercise, right? So when you exercise, it has to be on a regular basis. If you have a sedentary job where you're sitting all day, try to do something where you're just walking for 15-20 minutes between your clients or something, right? Or between calls. So exercising, stretching, stretching your entire body. There are certain amazing yoga postures like the plow pose that is really going to support your thyroid. So you're lying down on your back, and then you take your legs at the top, and then your legs sort of flop over, so that puts a lot of that increases the circulation of your thyroid. There is another fish pose that can really increase the circulation in your thyroid region, right? So certain yoga postures, if you can't go for vigorous activity, that's fine, but certain yoga postures can definitely help with your overall body circulation, as well as help the circulation of, around your thyroid gland. So you can definitely try these. Now, sleep is something we talk about, right? So sleep habits are something that they've found certain studies, and this was an interesting study that they did, that people who sleep lesser than 7 hours a day are at greater risk of developing hyperthyroid, and people who sleep for more than 8 hours a day are at risk for overactive and underactive thyroid function. So it's a weird study. I would take it with a pinch of salt. But what I have generally seen in my practice is that, if you are sleeping over 8 hours, right? If you're sleeping for 9, 10 hours, even 12 hours, 14 hours, and you wake up tired, right? Waking up tired, extremely fatigued is a sign that something could be off with your thyroid, right? And sometimes what happens is when you are in the hyperthyroid phase where you've lost a lot of weight, hyperthyroidism can also cause a lot of palpitations as well as insomnia. So while sleep, not having adequate sleep can throw your thyroid off. Sleep symptoms are also often commonly seen with thyroid issues, right? So if you are constipated, hair loss and all that, and sleeping long hours, that will indicate a hypothyroidism even if your numbers are perfect sometimes on the blood test, right? And with hyperthyroidism, again, you will be prone to insomnia. No matter what you do, you can't sleep. So those are, a few things you really need to tackle, and make sure, insomnia is not your pattern, right? And with sleep, one thing that I've found to be extremely important is, the bed has to be only for sleeping. Don't watch Netflix in your bed, don't watch TV, don't read in your bed. Treat the bed as a primarily thing where you're just going to sleep and do nothing else, right? And that trains your brain that as soon as you hit your bed, you're going to just be relaxed and go to sleep. But if you're watching TV, if you're doing all the work when in bed, it's not really going to help you because your brain doesn't associate your bed with sleep. It's going to associate it with all the other works that you do, right? So that is one simple thing that you can do. And in Ayurveda, we talk about, sometimes people are extremely hungry or non grounded. So even a warm almond milk, coconut milk, if you can handle organic milk, you can handle that, have that as well. Adding a little bit of turmeric, which is anti-inflammatory, and a pinch of nutmeg can help calm you down, relax you, and help you with sleep. So optimizing your sleep, optimizing your, minimizing your stress are important. And also emotions, right? So your thyroid gland is extremely sensitive to emotions, and this is one of the reasons why when you go through some great challenges in life or certain situations which are very stressful, that's when you suddenly start noticing that your thyroid has gone out of balance right after that. So your thyroid is also extremely important when it comes to your emotions on the spiritual level. It the thyroid gland more has to do with your voice, or your vocal cords are in the same region. When we talk about Ayurveda, it has to do with pranavayu as well as udanavayu. So speaking out your truth or voicing your opinions, if you're losing your voice constantly, if you're in a situation where you're scared for different reasons, or there's a lot of fear, and you cannot voice your opinions, that can often impact your thyroid as well, right? So making sure, changing the life situation if you can. If you can't change the situation, at least get help with whatever it is, so you can at least get help. So your life situation, even though you can't change the situation, you can get change your outlook on it, you can get more support with it, and that can definitely help you, right? So we have covered the 5-step plan today to balance your thyroid. We have covered, the three main lifestyle things. And now we're going to talk about some natural supplements, right? So one of the most common ones, like what can everyone take, right? So one thing that you all should be taking is vitamin D. Vitamin D is something that everybody needs to take at this time of the year. We are still in the cold weather. Today is a beautiful day actually, but in Canada, we are still in winter and we don't see sun that often. Today has been a really good day. thankfully. But we are not exposing ourselves to the outside sun. We are all covered. So you're not making any vitamin D, right? Because of the change in lifestyles, because we're constantly, homebound because of the lockdowns. Even if you live in a tropical country, or even if you're living in India, which has a temperate climate, if you're not going out in the sun, you're not making this vitamin D in your body. Vitamin D is essential for your bones. It also works like a hormone, and it also helps regulate other hormones in your body, right? So, vitamin D definitely is something that should be a part of your daily routine for most people. Most people that I see are deficient. And if you are in Canada, one of the things is you can talk to your medical doctor. When you get a physical, you can get a vitamin D blood test done. And it cost me, I think, about $37 to get that done. But it will give you your numbers. And I was surprised to find that I was low in vitamin D as well. And I take vitamin D all the time, right? So please get this test done so you get your numbers, and then you can make sure that you're supplementing with vitamin D. The second one we talked about was iodine, right? And these are essentially the strategies I'm talking about for hypothyroidism. If you're hyperthyroid, iodine is not going to be your friend, right? So hypothyroidism, having iodine drops can be one thing that will help. And sometimes that also seems to help with a lot of mental focus, right? So if you are feeling fatigued and tired and you're not focused, adding iodine will definitely help you with the focus. So that is one thing you can definitely add to your regimen. um, it's always good to consult somebody about the dosage. So if you are having extreme symptoms, definitely do that. Rosemary is one of my favorite herbs, right? Rosemary is something that has been used since ancient times for focus, concentration, memory. And using rosemary can definitely be a good thing even for thyroid balancing, right? So that, taking those herbs are really important. And you can also take rosemary as a tea or use it as a spice as well. Now different people are going to have different numbers when it comes to thyroid. So it's not like one size fits all for each and every one, right? So not everybody is going to have like the same issue or the same dosage. There are other herbs as well. So there's a bladder rack, or that works too. Coleus works as well. So there are going to be multiple herbs. Gugulu in Ayurveda is a fantastic herb that works with thyroid, right? But again, like herbs have to be supervised by somebody who knows everything about herbs, and they have to be catered especially for your body. Rosemary, you can use it as a spice, you can use it as a tea. Ashwagandha is the other one. So if you are having a lot of stress, ashwagandha is something that can work really well too. But then there are studies on the other end too, that some studies showed that certain factors in ashwagandha have changed, like the thyroid parameters. So always work with someone who knows who knows everything about herbs, right? So any other questions? Thank you all for watching this. I'm going to say a quick hi to Heather, and Harshad is here, and Sonu is here, and Chetna is here as well. Bijal is here too. So I'm just going to say a quick hi. Any other questions regarding thyroid? No. Okay. So thank you all for watching this live. If you know somebody that needs more help with their thyroid, definitely you can share this video with them. Rosemary oil in a diffuser can help you calm down, right, Sylvia? That's a really good question that she has talked about. See, one concept I would love to talk about is essential oils have really taken over the world now, but essential oils are very different than herbs, right? A rosemary essential oil is going to be very different than rosemary, which is going to have more constituents than the volatile oils that are extracted as essential oils. It's the same with holy basil oil. It is the same with lemon oil. I know so many people taking lemon drops, lemon essentials oil in their water, right? Instead of lemon juice or lemon slice. And they're two different things, because your lemon only has, like, your lemon has vitamin C and other constituents, including these oils. Essential oil is only going to have those oils that are distilled separately. So those are essentially two different things. So rosemary, if you're looking at more body function, adding it as a spice in smaller quantities, you don't have to eat spoonfuls of rosemary. But if you like, for example, potatoes or sweet potatoes, cooking rosemary with sweet potatoes is a good option, right? It's going to be different than a rosemary oil and diffuser. Now, I use rosemary oil myself in my diffuser. I use it a lot for focus and concentration. When I'm doing my work, whether it's writing blogs or writing something, I always use rosemary oil. But taking it internally as a spice is very different than taking an oil. And taking it as a herb in a way bigger dosage is different than using it as a spice. And the same is true for different herbs, right? So I hope that answers your question. So once again, thank you so much for watching this live. And if you want more support, just message me and we can set up a 15-minute call, and you can see how I can support rebalance your thyroid. If you have other questions, you can put it in the comment section. If you know somebody that struggles with their thyroids and a thyroid gland and is really looking to change something, please share this video with them. You can send this video to them privately by sharing it in their messenger, or just tagging them here if you're comfortable with it. So thank you once again for watching. I just saw Jasmine here. Jasmine, I'm just heading out. We've talked about natural strategies to rebalance and heal your thyroid today. So thank you everyone for watching. I'm going to say a quick hi to Jasmine and then a quick bye as well. Thanks and have a fantastic day. Bye for now.